Boys. Have we
Yes,
had a
Father.
month? We've had a month. Last month. We had a good time. We had the NFL draft. We're here to talk some football. We're here to
Yep.
talk about some rookie quarterbacks in their best situation. This is Play Action Takes live on Apollo HOU's YouTube. Check us out on YouTube, on any podcast platform that you listen to. We're talking football. I know it's May. I know the NHL and the NBA playoffs are just full steam ahead. Round two, a lot of great matchups, a lot of good sports ball going, except for
We
baseball.
do not
Baseball does
care. We do
base,
not care about hockey.
baseball isn't even real anymore. Baseball's dead. We're here to talk some football. I'm your host, Stoney, one of the hosts, joined always by Garrett Harrelson and Noah Outlaw. The Play Action Takes boys and the Off the Gridiron boys. We're here. We're talking the pigskin. Let's toss the pigskin around.
Oh, hey, that term right there is that's a great term. Pigskin. Just
Hmm.
something like the hairs on the back of my neck stand up every time I
Yeah.
hear that. And thinking about football, football's king. There's no time like it. It's more of. Can you argue it's more an event than the other sports?
Yeah,
the
of course.
the,
I
the
would
amount
say
of
so.
time that it lasts, the even like the schedule announcement, which is next Wednesday, which we will be doing a live. It's an event. Like they're like
Yeah.
they're like we are announcing the schedule. Everyone's like, oh shit, I will be tuning in. Like it's more eventful, and they
Yeah.
know that the NFL is a way better brand at doing that.
Yeah, nobody does it like the NFL at all. I've been saying it for years. I've been saying it for look. A lot of the Astros have had this insanely great run, which has been a lot of fun. But I've been saying for years, football is king in Houston. And whenever the Astros start to dip a little bit, hey, football's right there to pick up the slack. It knows its role. So yeah, man, I'm excited to talk a little pigskin.
Yeah, we're all Texas boys, so we all understand that football is king in the state of Texas. It's the king of the country, if we're being completely honest. I think the only sport that can rival the amount of fanfare in the offseason is the NBA with free agency and how that works. Just July 1st hits in the NBA, and all of a sudden 20 free agents sign and players are leaving. Kevin Durant was a huge one in 2016. That's probably the only one that's like a year-long sport. I think NFL is king, though, because schedule release, we've been fiending for the last 3 weeks for the schedule release. We're like, May 9th, it's coming. It's May 9th. And then we got word from Schefter,
Pissed
our,
me off, by the way.
our
Dude.
NFL
Like,
insider, Adam Schefter. He tweets it out. Schedule release, May 15th. So we'll be back next week. Another YouTube live for Play Action Takes, dissecting the NFL schedule release then. But today we're going to talk about which rookie quarterback is in the best situation to start their careers with their respective teams. We had six quarterbacks taken in the first round. Hasn't happened since 1983. Remember who was drafted in that 1983 first round?
Dan Marino.
Dan Marino, John Elway,
Yeah.
and Jim Kelly, and then a bunch of the other
What
three
a
were
class.
nobodies.
What a
Fuck
class.
That's
Hall of
insane.
Fames, Super Bowl losses, and Super Bowl wins. You got 2 Super Bowl trophies out of that class, both to John Elway, but you had a Super Bowl loss for Dan Marino and 4 Super Bowl losses for Jim Kelly. Never forget the Falls of Buffalo. 4 in a row. They lose 4 Super Bowls in a row. But we're not talking about the 1983 class. We're talking about the 2024 quarterback class. 6 quarterbacks taken in the top 12. It's never happened before. There was not a defensive
And-
player drafted until pick 15 or 16? Insanity.
And maybe it shouldn't have happened too. Like I think.
Yeah.
So I really do think the philosophy on taking quarterbacks has completely changed. In which they're like, no one thought really, the entire world, not including me and Noah, we knew the entire world was against C.J. Stroud. They're like, this guy's a bust. Ohio State quarterback.
He's stupid.
What?
Yeah.
He's an idiot. He's just a product of his receivers. And then we just take him because he's the best quarterback available, and then he's a star. He's a star.
Yeah.
So everyone's looking at quarterbacks like, well, maybe they just get it sometimes, getting in the league. Maybe just things just happen for them, and they get it. So they're more inclined to just take a chance on getting a guy.
Which I don't hate, because here's the thing. As this is very common knowledge. Everyone who knows anything about football knows that if you don't have a quarterback, you are not winning. That's simple as that. If you don't
He sounded like Kyle Chandler saying that or some shit. It was good delivery, man.
Thanks, dude. I've been working on it. But it's true. Like if you don't have a quarterback in this league, you are not going to win anything. You might win. Look, you can have a great defense and an average quarterback and win 9 games, but you're never going to get to the promised land without a star quarterback. So that's why I'm not shocked that all these teams are taking their quarterbacks, and the Broncos are taking gambles on guys like Bo Nix, or the Vikings are like, we love JJ McCarthy, we got to see what he's got, because he is a guy who's similar to CJ, had a lot of success in college, did nothing but win. You know what I mean? Obviously, JJ McCarthy ends up winning more in college than CJ ever did, but the winning pedigree is something teams look at. I don't know if that's. I mean, there's no way JJ McCarthy is going to be anywhere near as good as CJ Stroud, but there's just a lot of different kind of thought processes that go into getting quarterbacks in the first round. I was really shocked to see 6 go, but I like it, because I like that these teams are just taking big swings and looking for their guy, because they know, hey, maybe there's a diamond in the rough somewhere, especially with the McCarthy or the Bo Nix pick or the Penix pick, which we'll talk about soon, I assume. But I like it. I thought this draft was so fun. The defensive players can always wait till the end of the first round. I don't care. Y'all are boring. Let's get some high power quarterbacks in play.
I'd have to disagree with the whole defensive thing, because when we drafted Minka Fitzpatrick with the 11th pick, I believe, I was like, shit, boys, we just got an all-pro safety for the next 10 plus years. And then obviously Brian Flores happened, and that didn't last. But, it is. And when we drafted Deion Jordan, traded up to the number 3 pick, I was like, shit, we got an edge rusher. I met Deion Jordan at his rookie summer camp, got into the friends and family crowd at the Miami Dolphins camp at Nova Southeastern University back in 2013. Met him, and I was like, that's our guy. Got a picture with Cam Wake, Deion Jordan, Mike Wallace, all these guys. And I was like, we're going to be fucking good. You know what happened? It didn't mean shit. Nothing happened well for that team. But let's talk about these quarterbacks. I'm going to go in order in which they were drafted. I wrote down the name, the team that they drafted by, the weapons that they have, graded the weapons. And then I also wrote down their head coach and graded the head coach on what I perceived my opinion on these teams. So Caleb Williams, number 1 overall pick, surefire number 1 overall pick, goes to the Bears, Chicago. His weapons, let's list them out. Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze with the 9th pick, DeAndre Swift, and Cole Kmet. I wrote down B+ or an A-. Like, that's a hell of a weapon group to have when you come into the league as a rookie. As the number 1 overall pick, they typically go to shit teams with nothing there. And the Bears, they weren't the worst team. They were the 9th worst team. But then they go get Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift. They already had DJ Moore and Cole Kmet. B+, A-. I don't know what we're thinking on the weapons.
Dude. I think A- with the addition of Rome Odunze, because it was already like, man, you got a lot of veterans. DJ Moore is kind of a veteran, but also he's in his prime right now. Keenan Allen's a veteran. DeAndre Swift, Cole Kmet, all great. And then they were just like, oh, fuck it. Let's just get Rome Odunze as well. Mm-hmm. And then now it's like, oh, well, now you have a potential like Pro Bowl, All-Pro rookie or guy who's becoming an All-Pro in the future. So cherry on top, that's an A- for weapons around him. He's got a good thing going on with the guys.
I almost wanted to give it an A. I almost like because I mean it's really great, because you mentioned the veterans, and that's kind of a big knock. Like they're going to get Keenan Allen, who Keenan is a great receiver, but he is getting up there in age. He's an older guy. He might be past his prime. DJ Moore is same way. But also the reason I wanted to give it an A even is because they addressed that old guy syndrome that they had by getting Odunze in there. And I think Odunze has the chance to be in a stacked wide receiver class. He can be a name that we're talking about for a long time. I like everything about him. I like him almost more than Malik Neighbors, which is kind of crazy. Marvin Harrison Jr. is probably going to be the best receiver from this draft down the line. We're going to look back and be like, yeah, that was the right choice. But I absolutely love Odunze. I wish there was an upgrade at tight end. I like Odunze, but also I thought the Bears might have grabbed Brock at 9. But Cole Kmet is fine. We'll see what he has. But other than that, and then the Swift move is amazing. I'm giving it an A-, but this could easily be an A. I mean, a rookie quarterback coming into this situation is just unheard of.
And
people forget that DJ Moore had 1,300 yards last year
with Justin Fields. And what's his nuts? The guy that came off the bench, the third stringer that came in and played like 3 or 4 games.
How about that?
I can't remember.
Oh,
it was a
Tyler
funny name.
Bagnet or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
baguette.
no,
Wow, you pulled that. I would have never pulled that name. That's great.
yeah, it was they were hyping his shit up a little bit in Chicago
He did
because
win a game. I'll give
he
it
did
to him.
win a game,
His
and
first game.
then Tommy DeVito was doing things up in New York, and then Chicago was like, we have our
Oh
own
yeah.
Tommy DeVito, and he just
Mhm.
wasn't even as cool, not even near.
Yeah,
So
and then the Bears head coach is Matty Eberflus. I gave that a C, right in the middle. We haven't seen him with a good team yet, so we can't really decipher what Eberflus is as a head coach yet. We'll see. He was good with the Colts as a coordinator. As a head coach, I don't believe in him right now. Maybe you could knock that down to a D. We just haven't seen anything. Justin Fields didn't develop at all. This guy's supposed to be a quarterback whisperer. Now he gets the best quarterback in the draft. But I do think Caleb Williams has the best situation overall, easily, out of the 6 quarterbacks taken in the first round.
Yeah, it's hard to argue against that. I mean, like he said, we listed out all the names. Yeah, I think it's pretty clear that he is the best situation. But a lot of expectations. Caleb and Eberflus, you're gonna have to put it together because if they don't, the city of Chicago will burn down the entire city.
oh, they'll be fine. They've been dealing with it. They know pain. They're fine.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
true.
it's just like it's gonna be another drop in the bucket for busts for season busts. So
But
they'll-
congrats on the offseason, Chicago. You won the
yeah,
offseason.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's a great off season. They've made a lot of moves. Pretty funny that they didn't do any of this for Justin Fields, but they just didn't believe in him. So
Yep.
it shows you something how much trust they're putting into Caleb Williams because they didn't. They were like Justin, like why sacrifice everything to help this
Yeah.
guy out? Now they're like give Caleb everything he needs. We are going to be good, but. I actually don't think it's the best. We'll get on with it. I don't think it's
Okay.
the clear best situation, but it's a great situation.
Well, yeah.
I like what he's got going on there. I like what he's got going on there. So
All right, let's move on to pick number 2 in the NFL draft this past season. Jaden Daniels goes to the Commanders in Washington. His weapons: Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Austin Eckler, Brian Robinson Jr., and Zach Ertz is their tight end. I looked that up today. Turns out Zach Ertz is a Washington Commander, and their coach is Dan Quinn. I gave their weapons like a C plus. Scary Terry's good. Brian Robinson Jr., he's good. Ertz is well past his prime, but a serviceable tight end. Eckler, if he's your number two running back, okay, I guess. I mean, we saw how much gas he had left, and it's not a lot. It's not enough. You could probably knock this down to a C minus. And then they're coaching Dan Quinn. I mean, he led the Falcons to a Super Bowl with Kyle Shanahan's offense and Matt Ryan. They ended up losing a 28-3 lead against the Patriots in overtime. First overtime game in Super Bowl history. He gave it a B minus. He's an okay head coach if he has a good offensive coordinator. I don't know who their offensive coordinator is. So not the worst situation to walk into as the number 2 overall pick, but obviously not the best.
yeah, I don't like his situation at all. Really, I think that's a bad organization. Bad organization. Bad. And
Yeah.
Dan Quinn is a defensive-minded head coach. Who's their offense?
I have no idea.
coordinator?
I'll
We
Google
have
it.
no
real quick.
idea who they're.
Oh, isn't it Cliff Kingsbury? Isn't he their OC now?
Did they bring him in?
I think they did. I think they can you fact check that?
I'm looking.
Thank you. Because I don't really like Cliff Kingsbury as an OC. Really,
It is Cliff.
Yep.
yeah, yeah, and like I get he's like an air raid guy, but I don't really like what they have coaching wise and organization wise. Their weapons are okay. Scary Terry's fine. Zach Ertz, Austin Eckler, Yeah, I'm just. Who's their other receiver? Jahan Dotson.
Jahan Dotson.
Yeah,
I didn't
no.
even write down wide receiver 3 or 4 because it wasn't worth writing down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, they lost Curtis Samuel. Yeah, no, their weapons are not. They don't even
So-
know how to use them.
All right. On paper, when I look at their depth chart, it's not as bad as I kind of thought it was. It's not as bad as I thought it was. Like Austin Eckler, I kind of forgot about that move, and Austin Eckler has no gas in the tank. But we'll see what they can get out of him. Brian Robinson's solid. Terry McLaurin is a good receiver. If he has a quarterback that can just get him the ball, he can be damn good. I like Jahan Dotson. I think he's underrated a little bit. And they also drafted Luke McCaffrey, who I think is a later round steal. I think Luke McCaffrey could be a pretty serviceable receiver in the NFL. comes from a good lineage. So he's definitely could. We'll see what he has.
Rice Owls.
Hell yeah! Shout out
He was-
Rice. And also, I mean, I know we're talking about the offensive situations, but they also got like Johnny Newton,
They do.
as well
Their
over there on the
defensive
defensive
line
side of
is
the ball.
bananas.
Hey, and defense, they help win games too. The defense helps the offense. It's all one. It's all connected. So I don't know. It's definitely not the best situation for Jaden, but it's also not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Zach Ertz, maybe they got drafted Ben Sinnott. Um, I don't know. I would give this I give it a B. I don't
I
think
do
it's
like
the
Ben
worst.
Sinnott. I do like Ben Sinnott.
Yeah.
I forget they got him. That's a good pickup for them because Zach Ertz is not going to cut it as your starting tight end. It's got to be someone else. But yeah, we'll see. It's a big we'll see for the weapons. And with Cliff Kingsbury coming in, they might either be like, oh wow, they're interesting and fun,
Yeah.
or wow, nothing's working here. Nothing
The
is
Cliff
working.
Kingsbury
There's no in
hire is
between.
very boom or bust. If it works,
Yeah.
it's going to work well, and if it doesn't, it's going to look really bad.
Yeah, so it's a big we'll see.
I mean, Sam Howell was top 10 in passing yards last season and well over 4,000 yards on a horrible team. Would they win 3-4 games? Like, not a lot of games.
Yeah.
One last season, obviously, Riverboat Ron is no longer the head coach, so that helps you out a lot because they should have won that Eagles game that went to overtime earlier in the season, like week 4 or 5. I can't remember when it was. But, yeah, I was wrong about the number 2 pick last season. I wrote a whole blog about it on ApolloHOU.com. I apologized for
You
doubting
disgust
CJ
me.
Stroud.
You
That's
disgust
right.
me.
That's right.
I apologized.
Yeah, I know.
I've paid my dues. You've ripped me. You can continue to rip Dez because he still calls him radio, but I never called him radio. That was all Dez. I just said he's an Ohio State quarterback. I want to see it. I don't believe, and he proved me wrong. However, this number 2 overall pick, I watched Jaden Daniels in the SEC. I'm an SEC boy. Y'all are technically SEC boys now with Texas. Well, Garrett, you're UH, but Noah,
Big
you're an
12
SEC boy. But, I watched Jaden Daniels just get fucking destroyed by the 4th string cornerback, just absolutely leveled. Where they called targeting, and Jaden Daniels, I mean, he flopped. It wasn't a targeting call, but he was getting murdered by SEC defenders that will not play in the NFL. I don't like if fucking Jalen Ramsey or Javon Holland on the Dolphins are coming in to hit you on the run, you might not get up. You
Yeah.
might not get up. And the one thing about Jaden Daniels, he does his first read, he may do a second read. If he senses pressure, he's running. He's not looking for the check down. And
Yeah.
that doesn't work in the NFL because everyone's just as fast as you on the field. Defensive linemen, linebackers, corners, safeties, they're all going to be just as fast as Jaden Daniels. It worked at LSU. It worked in the SEC for a little bit. They lost a few games, but he won a Heisman. I just don't have a lot of faith in Jaden Daniels, and I absolutely have zero faith in the Washington Commanders as it
Yeah.
comes to as an organization. So we'll see what happens. He could prove me wrong. He could be the second quarterback in 2 years, taking number 2 overall to just completely prove me wrong. But I don't know. I don't like it.
If he stays healthy, I think he's gonna have a rough first half of the season, and everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, okay, he's just they're not those guys. He's not that guy." And I think the second half of the season, he's just gonna like put up some video game numbers, and everyone's gonna be like, "Is he? He's looking solid." And then the Commanders gonna finish with like 5 wins after
Yeah.
starting off with 1, and they're gonna be like, "Hey, he had a good second half of the year." I think that's what's
Yeah.
gonna happen with them. I think that's a strong possibility.
Yeah.
And
I don't know.
maybe they like beat the Eagles late in the year, and then he has like
Yeah.
4 total touchdowns, and everyone's like, "Oh, see, like he's playing well against competition." So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's my
I don't know.
crystal ball.
I don't love Jaden Daniels either. I thought Drake May should have been the second overall pick, but that Jaden Daniels to Washington was just a lock all offseason. I don't know why, but because like Stoney, you brought up
'cause he won
some
the
great
Heisman.
points. You brought up a lot of great points, but he also, but you go back to what you said about C.J. Stroud, which look, C.J. Stroud in college versus Jaden Daniels in college. C.J. Stroud was a lot better. But the thing is, you never know, is what I'm saying, because Bryce Young was the best, the big dog. He's better than CJ, this and that. But look, Stroud came in and obviously did what he did with a lot of haters, and Jaden has a lot of haters. Jaden has a lot of people doubting him. Maybe he uses that little chip on the shoulder. Who knows? But I think Jaden Daniels, by the end of his career, could end up being maybe the third or fourth or maybe fifth best quarterback in this class.
Not ideal. Number 3 overall pick. New England Patriots selected Drake May out of North Carolina, the prototypical 6'5" pocket passer from North Carolina. He never left. He could have transferred and went to a contender, try to compete for a Heisman Trophy and a national championship. He chose to stay at North Carolina. That's where his brothers went. His brother won a national title for the basketball team, Luke May, a few years ago. So the Patriots, weapons-wise, they drafted Jalen Polk, and they have nothing else. This is nothing.
Hey, put some respect on Javon Baker. Put some respect on Javon Baker.
They have nothing else. And their coach is now Gerard Mayo, so I put TBD on that. I put a D- for weapons. We saw what this Patriots offense was without Tom Brady. And outside of the Cam Newton year, they weren't able to move the ball at all. And even in the Cam Newton year, they won 6 games, I think, and they barely moved the ball. So not a lot of faith heading into his rookie season with the weapons and the surrounding. We don't know about the coach yet. I won't grade Gerard Mayo until after his first season is over. But Drake May, prototypical New England quarterback, he's going to wear number 10, I would assume, so everyone can just take the Jones nameplate off of the back of their Mac Jones jerseys and put May on the back of it. Good for the Patriots fans, I guess, on that sense. They got a quarterback, and I think potentially could be the best quarterback in this draft if New England really does develop him and put something around him that resembles an offense. But the AFC East, I mean, you got Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. You got the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen, and then you have the Miami Dolphins, which some people don't like. I'm a Dolphins fan, but you're a clear fourth right now in the AFC East for the time being. We'll see how long it lasts with every team in the AFC East, but not a great situation to walk into. A new head coach and no weapons. Not ideal.
No, it's really bad. I'm giving it an F. I'll just give my grade right now.
I was trying to be non-biased as a Dolphins fan and give him a D-. That's the only reason I didn't give him an F.
Yeah, but it's just there's nothing here. We'll see with Jalen Polk, Javon Baker, whatever, Garrett. But like Kendrick Bourne is your number one, probably your number one wide receiver.
Andre Stevenson.
Juju's there. Hey,
we watched that team
rejoice. Hey, Patriots fans, rejoice. You have Juju Smith-Schuster. Congratulations. Hunter Henry, I guess.
Hey, put some respect on Arkansas tight ends, dude.
Dude,
name another.
Shut the fuck up. You know
name another
well
Arkansas tight end,
dude.
Name another Arkansas tight end.
It's insane. So
Skylark.
I don't know. This sucks. This sucks for Drake. I will say. And look, I think he can be really good, but he is walking into by far the worst situation. Just the worst. It's disgusting. I don't know. I have nothing else to say.
You know what? I kind of don't hate this situation.
We do nothing. I don't know, because I don't know. Maybe Patriots fans think of him the way we thought of D'Amico, but he does not have the D'Amico resume. I don't know what Gerard Mayo is going to do. So I'm sorry, Drake. If you get screwed over in your career, I'm sorry.
You know, I actually don't even really hate his situation. Obviously, the Patriots are not as good as they don't have a good as roster as. There's actually maybe a quarterback situation I like less than this one. This is definitely near the bottom though, and I mean I don't know. I feel like Drake May is one of those guys who can overcome a poor situation at the start of his career. He seems like he's got a good head on his shoulders. I don't know. Like he kind of came in the pressers. I saw his pressers and he looks like he's just taking charge and he's like, oh yeah, this is my team now. Which that's what kind of CJ Stroud did. And if you do that, if you just kind of come in and be like, hey, I'm the man. You drafted me to be the man, so I am the face of this franchise. Let's go. I won't steer you wrong. Like I don't know. I feel like he's got that moxie in him. But you're right. The weapons around him, not very good. Not very good.
He's walking into Peyton Manning's rookie year situation where there was basically nothing there for him. Yeah. Obviously, Peyton Manning was the number 1 overall pick to the Colts, and they didn't put anything around him his rookie season. He threw, 26 interceptions his rookie year. Just a horrendous rookie year, and Peyton Manning goes on to be a top 3 quarterback, top 4 quarterback of all time. Yeah. 2 Super Bowl wins, 1 for the Colts, and had some Hall of Famers, Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, all these guys. I mean, Reggie Wayne's not in the Hall of Fame, but he should be. Yeah, so maybe that's the situation we're walking into. I fucking hope to God not. I dealt with Tom Brady for 20 years, and the Patriots reigned for 20
Yeah.
years,
Well,
and now I've
yeah.
got Josh Allen. I don't think that is going to happen, obviously, with the terror that they put on my life and my soul for 6 Super Bowls and went to 10 or whatever. Like, yeah, I don't think that'll happen, but he's walking into a situation where he can just get his lumps in, make his rookie mistakes without having to get like he won't get pulled. They don't have anyone else on the roster that they'll put in. Like he's just gonna make his mistakes, learn from them, and if he learns from them, then he'll be a good quarterback. But they've got to put something around him in order for the Patriots to be resembling a football team.
Yeah, no, I mean,
no, I agree.
I like your point about how they're not going to pull him because their expectations are low. But I mean, I think we're sitting here next season with New England having the number 1 overall pick. I think they have. I think they're going to be the worst team in football next year. And then look, which is honestly what they need. They have their quarterback. They have a guy who is going to be good, who is going to be solid in the league. And then go get that number 1 overall pick or a really high pick. Get a good receiver. Get a good offensive weapon. Build up. Get some free agents, and then move forward. But yeah, I mean, I like Drake a lot though, so I'm excited just to see him grow as a player. But man, it's an F for me.
We'll move on. Number 8 overall pick, the shock of the draft. One of the shocks of the draft, I guess. Michael Penix Jr., Washington quarterback, goes to the Atlanta Falcons, who did just sign Kirk Cousins as their 4-year, $180 million quarterback.
I don't understand it still.
Like trade down and get Michael Penix. I don't think Penix is getting drafted before J.J. McCarthy and Bo Nix.
Also, just take J.J. McCarthy. Just take J.J. McCarthy.
That too.
Way younger, has a championship pedigree. Like, just take him. Like, what are we doing?
Right.
It's such a weird move.
Their weapons: Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson. Hell of a start. Coaching: Raheem Morris, TBD. New head coach, comes from the Shanahan tree, the McVay tree. I would assume he's going to be a good head coach. However, Michael Penix Jr. is walking in as the clear number 2 if Kirk Cousins is healthy, both because of the salary that Kirk Cousins has and because Kirk Cousins has been a very good top 15, top 10 quarterback some years. Like
Top 10.
He has proved that Kirk Cousins belongs to be a starting quarterback in this league. Michael Penix Jr. has not, and he's also, I think he's 24 years old. He's had 3 ACL injuries in his college career. He was really good last season. However, it was strange. I saw some stats. His wide receivers had the greatest separation in all of college football last year from their defender, like by yardage. So he's throwing to wide open people, so you can miss. When the coverage was tight, he was the least accurate quarterback in college football when it was within a yard of separation. So, and that's typically where the league average is. I think it's like 1.1 yards in the NFL is like average separation from a corner. Anyone above 1.1 is like elite as a wide receiver. So he's walking in a situation where he's going to be able to get separation, but he's also got to just get on the field. And we don't know if Kirk Cousins is going to come back week 1. Like maybe he starts the first 2, 3, 4 weeks of the season, and all of a sudden Kirk Cousins is back. Like, all right, Kirk, here you go. It's the Drew Bledsoe, Tom Brady. This is your team. Penix, get back on the bench and learn some more. This was the most dumbfounding pick I've ever seen.
It's so dumb. And what if Kirk is just great for 4 years and they win? Like, imagine he like wins the Super Bowl his 4th year, right? Oh, well, you're just going to let him walk? And then, like, Michael Penix is... No, you're going to be like, let's just keep...
Here's another 2-year deal until you're 42.
No, and then, like, now it's like, man, that 8th overall pick that we had, a few years ago, we used it on Penix. Like, now, like, Penix doesn't even have a shot. Like, he doesn't have a spot on our team. We could have got a pass rusher. We could have got something else.
If you don't pick up his 5th-year option, you don't have a quarterback anymore. Kirk Cousins is on a 4-year contract. Michael Penix Jr. is on a 4+1 year contract.
Yeah.
If you don't pick up his 5th-year contract, you just wasted a number 8 overall pick where you could have drafted a tackle, a defensive lineman to beef up your defensive line that is old. You could have drafted the best cornerback if you wanted to. You could have drafted another wide receiver to add some more weapons for Kirk Cousins. Could have had Brock Bowers to add with Kyle Pitts and had an Aaron Hernandez, Rob Gronkowski situation. albeit without the off the field issues. Hopefully, fingers crossed there.
Without the murders.
Yeah, without
Yeah.
all that and the drug use and all the things that go with Aaron Hernandez, please don't do that again. You could have had so many other options. Or if you really wanted Michael Penix, why didn't you just trade to 15? Trade to 12. Trade to 14.
Yeah.
Do something and pick up another second rounder or another first rounder next year. Like, you could have done so many other things than draft Michael Penix Jr. at the 8th. And this is not a discredit to Michael Penix Jr. Obviously, he was a great college quarterback. Sure, maybe he deserved to be a top 10 quarterback. He just went to the most dumbfounding situation and the weirdest pick of all time because they didn't tell Kirk Cousins. And even like the GM's like getting yelled at by the owner in the draft room after they take Michael Penix Jr.
Yeah.
They're like, what the fuck are we doing?
there
We
was a
just got our
report-
franchise guy.
There was a report that Kirk Cousins, the reason why he left Minnesota is because they were like, hey, we're planning on using a high pick on a quarterback, and he thought, well, I don't like that because I'm not doing that. So he left. It went to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And then Atlanta did the exact same thing. They without even telling him, they just called him right before, and they're like, "Hey, so we're using a high pick on our quarterback." He was probably so pissed. He was probably like, "What the fuck, dude?" He was so pissed. I can't even really give this a letter grade, this situation, because Michael Penix Jr. might never start for the Falcons. He might be traded or he might walk in free agency because Kirk Cousins might play out the rest of his contract, and if he's still good, why let him walk? Or just give him like another 2-year extension, like you said. Like it's so strange, so strange. I can't even give it a letter grade.
I don't know. So when this happened, a lot of people were shitting on it, and I was kind of like thinking about it as like, well, maybe this isn't terrible, because I have been preaching like the praises of like the Green Bay formula, and that's exactly what the GM said after they made the pick, and I love that. I love because it's so smart. The Green Bay formula is proven at this point. It works.
When you have a Super Bowl winning quarterback that wins multiple MVPs and is passing leader year in and year out, Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, that makes so much sense. Jordan Love looks like he's going to work out, but they also spent the 26th or 27th pick on him. They didn't spend the 8th pick on him after like signing Aaron Rodgers to a 4-year deal. I think Aaron Rodgers had 2 years left.
I agree, Stoney. I agree it's stupid. But what I'm saying is I like that GMs in the league are catching on to that. But if they're going to do that, you don't do that with Michael Penix there, who's 29 years old already. You don't do that, and you don't use the 8th pick, like you said, to use one of those late-round picks. If you were going to do that, you do that with a quarterback like Bo Nix. Like, you do that he would have even been a better option. He's still pretty old. He's like almost the same age as Michael.
They're the same
but
age.
You could have gotten
Penix
him later. But I don't know. I don't like it. I think it's stupid, and I think you're right. I think it's going to be almost like similar to a Trey Lance situation, where Michael Penix might play some games, but he's never going to be like, oh, this is the guy for us. And then he'll end up being traded, and he'll be a backup on the Cowboys, and then whatever. But, the more I think about it, I was trying to give Atlanta the benefit of the doubt, but it is just such a ridiculous.
Noah is on record saying, I love this move for Atlanta. I love it a lot.
Yeah, I didn't say I love it.
We can go back, dude. Off the gridiron last week, or right during the draft, you were like, "I love this move for Atlanta."
Maybe I did. I was trying to give them, like I said, I was trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. But the more I've just sat with it, it just does.
It just doesn't make sense. It's just a move that doesn't make sense at all. You can't make sense of the move, really.
Yeah. So Red Barn Creative is in the chat right now. He's saying it didn't work for Matt Flynn in Green Bay. Yeah, that's true. But Aaron Rodgers was also like 30 years old.
And doing the most,
or maybe 28 years old, but he was still incredibly young. Won a Super Bowl and was winning multiple MVPs after that. That one didn't work. This one could work. Maybe Kirk Cousins is done in 2 years, and then all of a sudden you got Michael Penix Jr. still on a rookie contract and with 2 years of development, and maybe he's good. Maybe it does work out,
and he'll be 27.
Yeah, I mean. Maybe it works out that way. Maybe it doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't make sense to do it. We'll move on. Number 10, overall pick, J.J. McCarthy to the Minnesota Vikings. Your Minnesota Vikings, Garrett.
Skull.
Yep. Weapons, Justin Jefferson, T.J. Hawkinson, Jordan Addison, Aaron Jones. Hell of an offense to walk into. I gave it an A. You have probably the best or second best wide receiver in the game. A top 5 tight end in the game. Jordan Addison had an incredible rookie season, and Aaron Jones is a proven Running back on the cheap. I think you got him for $6 million on a free agency deal. Not a bad deal. The Vikings, they also have Kevin McConnell, I believe is his name. I give that a B. He's a good coach. They haven't won a playoff game yet with Kirk Cousins in his prime. Obviously, the offense hadn't fully developed at that point. I think I think you were alluding to this, Garrett. Maybe JJ's walking into the best situation. A good head coach with the best wide receiver in the game.
And also, he's not expected to start right away.
Who are they going to start?
They're going to start Darnold at first. That's what the plan is. But the thing is, the pressure immediately isn't on you as a 21-year-old something. I mean, obviously, a lot of guys, pressure creates diamonds. A lot of guys would thrive under it and embrace it. But if you're walking into a situation with a lot of smart coaches, a good defense, they had like a top 5 defense second half of last season. Great offense. And they're like, hey, just right now focus on learning and everything, because this is a tough division and we don't want you to throw you to the wolves yet. Mm-hmm. No, I mean, I would be like, huh, all right, it's like going to a job and then just being like, just be to the side and just take notes for like the first few weeks. And I'd be like, fucking, all right, that's a solid gig. I'm just like standing to the side, just taking notes, getting paid. And when I jump in, I'm ready to go. And I'm like, I feel like I've seen it all. I know how to do it all. I'm good. Yeah. So I feel like it might be the best situation, because just everything's kind of falling in place. We'll see how good JJ McCarthy really is, though, because Caleb Williams is going to be a better quarterback. But the things around him, I like what he's got going on. I like the situation a lot.
Yeah. No, he has the best situation by far. I mean, even more than Caleb. But the thing is, the reason I still maybe think Caleb technically might have the best situation is just because Caleb is so much better at playing quarterback than JJ McCarthy. So he's going to get maybe more around or more out of the guys that he has around. But I mean, he's got the best wide receiver in the NFL. He's got Jordan Addison, who was just absolutely phenomenal. TJ Hawkinson, who's been great. Aaron Jones on a good deal. And I will say this. I don't think J.J. McCarthy starts a single game this season. I think Sam Darnold plays, and we can clip this. I've been on my Darnold wave since he got sent to the Niners. If you give him a good roster, he could probably produce. And I'm not saying he's going to win a Super Bowl, but I'm saying he can produce. I think Sam Darnold plays well enough pretty much all season consistently to where they don't even give JJ a look. And I think that's best case scenario for JJ too. I think if JJ can sit for a year or two, that would be phenomenal for him. And then because I think Darnold's going to be pretty damn good. I mean, it sounds crazy. You can clip this, you can do whatever. But if you give him Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, Aaron Jones in the backfield, he's got everything he needs. And so I don't think JJ plays it all this year, which is good. Unless week 18 or something, it doesn't matter and they let him go. But I don't know, and I think that's best case scenario for him. And also his situation is amazing. And Kevin O'Connell he's a good coach, dude. Kevin O'Connell is a good coach. I love what he's been doing up there in Minnesota. And I think JJ McCarthy is probably best case scenario for him in this draft, going to Minnesota. So good for him. But Sam Darnold's running the ship there. Skol Vikings.
If Minnesota would have kept Kirk Cousins, they would be doing the Green Bay formula right now with JJ McCarthy, because they can just be like, JJ McCarthy starting in 2 years, and we can let Kirk walk or whatever. Yeah. And it would just make more sense than the Falcons pick. I'll just say that.
Yeah, that's for sure. McConnell's the next quarterback. He's a quarterback whisperer of sense. Like, he gets the best out of his quarterback. He puts his quarterback in the best situation. So if JJ does end up playing it all this year, I would assume he's in a good situation and he's the best man for the job. I don't think McConnell will put him out there just willy-nilly, like, all right, go figure it out, bud. I think he's going to give him all the tools to succeed. And yeah, he's in a good situation. And shout out to Jim Harbaugh for the campaign to get JJ McCarthy drafted in the first round. He did a hell of a campaign, even as the Chargers coach. He's the best quarterback in college football last season. He did win the most games. Their run game was
he had people
ridiculous.
thinking that they were like Chargers are going to drop JJ McCarthy because of how
I thought it might happen. They just trade Herbert and just go get McCarthy. It would have been the craziest thing.
That would have been terrible.
That would have been weird. Amazing. I would have had it would suck for the Chargers, but that would have been so funny.
It would have been hilarious. Last pick of the quarterbacks in the first round, number 12, Bo Nix of Auburn and Oregon, goes to the Denver Broncos. Weapons: Cortland Sutton, Javonte Williams. I didn't write anyone else down. Not an ideal start. Not an ideal start when Cortland Sutton gets hurt pretty much every year and has had like one or two really good seasons in the NFL, 1,400 yards, like exceptional season as a wide receiver, but he hadn't done it consistently. They traded Jerry Jeudy in the offseason. Coaching wise, they got Sean Payton. I give it a B+. It's been 15 years since they won the Super Bowl. Sean Payton could make it work with Russell Wilson. Sure, it wasn't the best environment, whatever. They love Bo Nix. They love that he's a family man. He's a Christian boy, grew up in the South, has all these great qualities. Yeah, and he did the whole playbook thing. They probably put a $100 bill on the back and he sent it back. $100 bill was still in the back pocket. Like, they did the whole draft day thing with Bo Nix, it seems like, in the press conferences and all the comments made by the Nix family. But he's the number 12 overall pick. And if you had told me that Bo Nix would be going number 12 overall in the NFL draft, I'm like, all right, so who passed on JJ? Who passed on Penix?
Yeah, I would be like, wow.
I mean,
He's the fourth quarterback taken. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I
No,
think that's why they took him at 12. I guess because they thought
it was a quarterback run.
A quarterback run. He's the last fringe first round guy available, and apparently they thought they got a gotcha on everyone because they're like, well, he was number one on our board.
They were trying to get everyone to trade up to go get the other quarterback so they could stay at 12 and get Bo
I don't
Nix.
know.
They thought they'd pulled a genius move when getting their guy, but when he's arguably the sixth best quarterback in this draft taken already.
I think this is the worst situation for a rookie quarterback.
Okay.
Because, I mean, Denver has not been very good the last few seasons, even though they think that they're always on the cusp of being great. A few moves. Oh, they trade for Russell Wilson. Oh, they trade for Sean Payton. Oh, they're cooking. And then it just keeps getting worse and worse for them. And also, Sean Payton, to me, he hasn't lost all credibility, but he's
close.
a guy I look at where I'm like,
he's getting close.
like,
yeah.
I would not want to play for you. Dude, you seem pretty toxic. He seems like a toxic guy. After last year, he did everything, all that shit talking. Nathaniel Hackett's a bad coach. He did such a bad job. He cucked Russell Wilson. Like he was toxic last year. And if that's just how he rolls now, I would not want to be a rookie quarterback who's older, like 24, 25, with no weapons, going to Denver and stinking it up so I can get yelled at in the film room by my head coach all the time.
And we didn't point out that the Broncos are now the University of Texas San Antonio with their uniforms.
Yeah, and bad uniforms now.
Just not good.
And I like orange. I like orange a lot.
We love orange.
Not great. Those are not great. So, it's just a bad. I think it's the worst situation a rookie's in right now. I mean, even Drake May's situation is better than this, in my opinion, because, I feel like they could bench. I feel like they can bench Bo Nix. I feel like at a certain point he gets bad enough, they're like, we're benching you, dude. Zach Wilson's coming in.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I honestly think Zach Wilson. I think Bo Nix and Zach Wilson are going to just be having a mid-off the entire season. I think Zach Wilson and Bo Nix are going to be doing that thing where they just kind of end up trading back and forth. They're like, Bo's our starter. Through 4 weeks, he's terrible. Oh, Zach Wilson has experience in the league. Blah 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 blah. Bring in Zach, let him play. Red Barn Creative says Peyton loves Jared Stidham. Maybe, but he's just not gonna get. He's not gonna get any play time.
They just let go of Ben DiNucci, so the DiNucci dream is over. They released him.
Yeah, that's sad. That's sad.
Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, I don't hate. Look, they got Troy Franklin. I mean, Cortland Sutton's fine. Josh Reynolds is okay. I mean, it's just very mid. All of it's extremely. Javonte Williams is very mid. I mean, there's nothing that stands out at all on their offense.
And by the way, you have to play Kansas City Chiefs twice this season.
Yeah, and the Raiders, who are better right now, and the Chargers, who will be probably better right now.
Yeah. They're a 5-win team at max.
Yeah, I think there's a chance that the Broncos have the number 1 pick next year. I think there's a good chance. I just don't. They're getting worse and worse, and I just don't see. There's maybe a stretch last season where they got up to 500, above 500 or something, and everyone's like, "Wow, they're doing."
Yeah, they
doing
went on a
fucking
streak
awesome.
where they didn't throw interceptions until the Texans game, and then he threw that critical interception in the end zone.
He threw 3, and then we beat them, and then we
Yeah.
ruined their season. Go to hell. So no respect for the. Yeah, see that? See those muscles? Big dogs. Big dogs. Stay on the porch. Stay your ass on the porch, Denver.
Pissed like a puppy, stay on the porch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. You know what? I will say this. Bo Nix is either going to be really bad, or he's going to be pretty. He's going to be solid.
Nah.
Way to go out on a limb there, bud. Way to go on a fucking limb.
He's going to be all right. Fine. He's going to be really bad,
take, dude.
or really good. There's a world that I envision where I see Bo Nix being a solid, like a good quarterback in the NFL. There's a world. If Sean Payton can work his little Drew Brees voodoo magic and figure it out for Bo,
Put a bounty on everyone's head.
yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. We will see.
Yeah, so that's the NFL draft. It's probably the best NFL draft we've had in a number of years. Most entertaining wise, I guess, with how it played out. With 6 of the first 12 picks are quarterbacks. No defensive player until the 15th pick, I believe. Not a ton of trades. I thought there was going to be more, but there weren't. But yeah, quarterbacks. I love Caleb Williams' situation. J.J. McCarthy's situation is amazing. Drake May and Bo Nix kind of in the shitter. Jaden Daniels, you kind of loop him in there. And then Michael Penix Jr., you're like, all right, you're going to sit for 4 years. And on your 5th-year option, where we're paying you $20 million, you get the job. Congratulations.
If Kirk pulls like a I'm playing until I'm 41 move and he's still solid somehow, Michael Penix is not going to play for the Atlanta Falcons. He's going to be moving on to another team, walking in free agency or getting traded or something.
Very funny.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious.
I love Kirk. There's also a really good chance he gets hurt at some point with an injury that he's going to make him miss a mass amount of time. It's just he's getting up there. We saw what happened last year. Obviously, that he's probably going to come back stronger, but there's going to be something. He's getting old. He's never been the healthiest guy, So I think Michael Penix will start some games for Atlanta. But I don't know if he'll ever be like their guy. I don't think he will. I'll say that.
We'll see. It's
got
a big we'll see for Atlanta.
We got a couple more things on the docket. So that was quarterback draft of the NFL draft 2024. Tom Brady. I've seen too much of your face on my TV in the last few weeks. My social media has just been filled with Tom Brady's face. If you know me, you know that I hate Tom Brady with every fiber of my being. I begrudgingly have watched a majority of the Dynasty documentary on Apple TV, thanks to Garrett. Talked me into it.
Solid TV.
It's a good documentary. I'm on like episode 6 right now. Haven't finished it yet, but we're in kind of the current era. They skipped over the second Giants Super Bowl, basically. They cut to it for 25 seconds, and they're like, oh, there's the Giants celebrating. Didn't even point out anything in that game, which was very funny. Tom Brady was roasted on Netflix. Netflix is a joke, put on a whole production at the Forum in L.A. Mm-hmm. And I got about an hour left. I'm in the middle of Gronk's set right now. And let me tell you, is comedy back, boys? Is comedy just back in full force? Like, we got a full-on roast where they didn't bleep out anything. Yeah. No jokes were off limits except for making fun of Tom Brady's hair transplants. Multiple, probably, because he had the back and the front issue as a young boy. That was the only thing that was pretty much off limits, I think. That
apparently Robert Kraft jokes were off limits as well.
And the massage jokes. We got one out of Jeff Ross, and Tom Brady got up and said, don't say that shit again.
Who's that guy with the stupid haircut? Andrew Scholes?
Yeah.
He sucks. I don't like him. But
Nazi haircut as a Jew is a strange thing.
He just said, like on some podcast, he said, we were told beforehand, no Robert Kraft jokes, no massage jokes. And I think that's why when Jeff Ross made that one, like Tom Brady came up and said, like,
don't say that shit. He said, don't say that shit again. Is the direct quote. I had the closed captions on it. They had that up there. That was funny. But the Tom Brady roast overall so far, I got another hour left. It's a 3-hour roast. It is incredible. Netflix did a great job. The production the people that they had there, except for the exclusion of Dave Portnoy, even though they had 3 other Barstool employees there, 2 of which are newer and not a part of that whole Deflategate suspension arresting of the Barstool employees. I thought that was strange that Dave Portnoy wasn't invited at all. And they kept showing a comedian that was on one of the Bravo TV shows, Summer House, that I watch with my wife. They kept showing her at the beginning, like 5 different times. So I was like, why are we showing her? Like, no one cares. Show the athletes. Show the real comedians.
Right.
Yeah.
But the roast overall so far, from what I've seen clips on Twitter and the first 2 hours of the roast, has been incredible. Great television. Great roast.
Yeah, the first hour and a half, I'd say, was really fun. It was really funny, and then it was the whole thing was fun. Tom Brady, though, and I don't think you got to it yet, but first off, he went really hard in the paint with trying to be edgy, and I don't think it worked. Like he wasn't good, and you'll see. In my opinion, he was the worst of the night. Nikki Glazer was hilarious. Jeff Ross
She was
always
awesome.
funny. I think Andrew Schultz shouldn't have been there, and I think I was talking to some friends about it. Like Shane Gillis was there, and I was like, Shane should have been roasting Tom Brady.
I saw
would've
him
been
in
a
the
lot
crowd,
more
and I was
funny
like,
than
why is he
Andrew
not
He's an
Schultz.
actual
getting a spot?
football guy too. He's an
Yeah.
actual ball knower, like,
Mhm.
and
Yeah, big
an
time.
Eagles fan. So maybe that's why they didn't let him speak. Maybe because he's an Eagles fan.
Yeah.
And he'd say some shit about Nick Foles catching a touchdown on their asses,
Nah, that's
something like
fair.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I thought Tony's part on Burt Kreischer, where he called him like the Tiger King, made love with
Yeah.
the Liver King and got beat up by, or his liver
Rodney
looks
King,
like,
yeah.
and then the Rodney
Yeah.
King. That joke was impeccable. A lot of jokes were, and Nikki Glazer's set was by far my favorite so far.
Nikki
She
was great.
murdered it.
Mhm.
Murdered it. It was a good roast. We haven't seen a roast in what 10+ years now. Everyone's
Yeah.
been too afraid to really do a real roast where pretty
Yeah.
much nothing was off limits. His hair and Robert Kraft aside, like if those are the only 2 things you can't make jokes about, you had
Yeah.
plenty of Aaron Hernandez jokes
The
too,
Aaron
which
Hernandez
I always
jokes
find
were
funny.
insane. Yeah.
They're
Did
funny.
you see his baby mama got really mad at them?
She was catching some strays too, and then
Yeah,
Giselle and the
she was
karate
catching-
jiu-jitsu
yeah, she was-
teacher was a lot.
She said some quote. She was like, now my children have to like see those jokes and think that their dad wasn't a hero and shit like that, and like it's gonna pierce the image of their dad and all that. And I'm like, I think he did it himself.
It's already
Right.
the image is already shot, Bubba.
Yeah, I think he did it to himself by being a serial murderer.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, but she was the only one mad. Her and Giselle, but who cares about Giselle?
And Aaron
She cheated on my boy.
Hernandez's girlfriend was pissed off about it. She came out publicly and was like, "My daughter is 13 years old. She's going to see this. Like, she's going to see everything. She's going to see
Yeah.
all the bad stuff." Do you not know that your dad's a murderer? Like at 13, like you know, you
You have
googled
to
your dad.
know.
You
Yeah.
googled.
You go to
I know you
school
did.
and everyone was like, I remember that. your dad
Your
killed
last
me.
name is Hernandez because you got your dad's last name. Like everyone knows, you know, maybe your mother is sheltering you from information, but if you have a phone and if you go to public school or private school, you know that your dad is not a great person, and that sucks to grow up. Like I don't wish that on anyone. I don't wish it on a kid. But the girlfriend coming out and being like, my daughter's going to see this. Have they not seen the last 10 years? Have we
Yeah.
not experienced that over the last 10
Yeah.
seasons? of
Yeah, if
football?
she doesn't know, there's a great documentary. There's a great documentary on
Yeah,
Netflix.
there's
all
like
about
100
multiple.
million documentaries about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
I haven't finished the roast either, but it's solid. I think the trick is of creating a roast or getting a roast planned. So you have to find someone rich enough and successful enough where they don't care about what's being thrown at them. Like Tom Brady is the greatest football player to ever live. He's won 7 Super Bowls. He's accumulated hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe close to being a billionaire in his lifetime. He does not care about a few Deflategate jokes and all that. Like he doesn't give a fuck. You
Yeah.
know, that's the trick. You got to find someone rich enough and successful enough where they just like they don't care.
Yeah.
You know.
I'll say
Before-
this. I'll
yeah.
say this since y'all haven't seen it yet, just to give you a little preface for what to expect from Tom's roast. Tom Brady makes a New York Jets related 9/11 joke,
Ooh.
and he makes a Hamas joke.
There was
And it's
multiple
all-
Hamas jokes though.
You know, I might
Yeah,
be sold.
for sure. But it's just it's very heavy content, and
I
he's
guess
like he
coming
had the
from him,
edgiest
yeah.
set of the night, and I was like, man, I think Tom's only goal was to just go up there and be like, I'm just gonna say crazy shit. And I was like, he's not, but he wasn't that funny. He didn't. His delivery wasn't great.
I think he was
So
drunk too. I think he was blasted. So,
yeah, he was drinking all night before he roast. So I don't know.
yeah.
And
So,
Edelman did call him. He can't laugh because of all the plastic surgery, and he's a no humor robot. Essentially, is what Edelman called him. So he's just maybe not a funny guy. He's just a competitive asshole that won 7 Super Bowls. That's what he is, and that's okay. You don't have to be the funny guy.
You know, I can't deal with non-funny people, man. I just can't do it. Hanging out with them, I'm like,
It's tough.
if they try to say a joke and it's like just like you said, too edgy, it's like this doesn't really hit. It's like, yeah, yeesh. You know, this guy's not a cool hang at all. You know?
Not ideal. So we got schedule release next week, May 15th. We'll be back May 16th. Another PAT live. We'll break down the best games, the best schedule release from each team on social media. We always have some bangers. But before we go, let's do a little Sporkle quiz.
Yes.
Let's do a Sporkle quiz, boys. I'm going to figure out if I can share my screen here. This is going to be great. Great live. Here we go. Share window.
Can't even begin to tell you how.
Me neither.
We're doing things. We're doing things. No, we're not. This is great. Share screen. Oh, what? I can't share my screen. This is great.
Okay. Well,
I mean, we've been going for 57 minutes. We can do a trivia.
Yeah, we can do it next time.
Yeah, we'll do it next time. We were going to do NFL starting quarterbacks of the 2000s, 2000 to 2009. There's 161 answers. It's a lot. I looked at it. If we got 100, that would be it.
We would be Rain Men. We would be Rain Men if we got 100 out. Like we would just have to be studied.
All right, before we go, Red Barn Creative asked, who are all of your teams? So Garrett and I are big Texans boys. And Stoney is a Dolphins man himself.
I am. Am I currently sharing my screen? Can y'all see this?
Oh, actually, here I have to allow it. I have to open it up. Oh,
okay.
Josh got it.
All right.
Most anticipated matchup next season.
Texans,
I don't know.
Chiefs.
Texans, Cowboys. Honestly, that's gonna be a
Texans, Dolphins.
Yeah, we're going to that game.
Texans against any team next year, I'm interested.
Yeah.
Texans against Lions. Texans against Packers. That's gonna be a good one. There we go. There we go. We're doing things.
So
here.
can we see the Sporkle quiz?
Yes.
We can.
Probably can't see us because of the frame.
Yeah, that's all right, though. All right, boys. We got 20 minutes. We don't have to play for 20 minutes. But do we just want to rattle off the quarterbacks? We go one in a row. Start Garrett, Noah, then me.
That picture is like
Not going to work?
That picture of that quarterback up there.
Yeah.
That's who we're guessing? Or
No, so you're guessing NFL starting quarterbacks of the 2000s. So every starting quarterback in the NFL from 2000 to 2009.
Oh, okay. Tom Brady,
All right. Let's play the quiz. Brady.
Aaron Rodgers,
We'll get Mannings.
Chad Pennington.
Dolphins legend. Testaverde.
Vinny Testaverde. Matt Flynn.
Nope, not 2009.
David
Carr.
We
got Favre. What you got, Garrett?
Matt Castle.
There we go.
Yeah, Jay
Cutler, Dolphins legend. I'm just going to rip Dolphins, guys. So we're going to go G. Fiedler, if I can spell. There we go. Feely. Yep. We already got Pennington. Farrow.
Drew
Brees. We'll get Rivers out of here.
Yep.
We'll do the one in the picture here. Matt
Doug
Hasselbeck. Flutie. He did play in the 2000s. Incredible. Donovan McNabb was the Philadelphia guy here.
Ben Roethlisberger.
This is a tough name to spell. All right, we got it right.
Did Charlie Batch play in the 2000s?
He did. There you go. Detroit and Pittsburgh. 28 games started. John Kitna. That was a thing.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Joey Harrington, another Lions quarterback. Dolphins legend.
David,
Jake
David Carr.
Yeah.
Plummer, David Carr.
Drew Bledsoe.
We already got Carr. Bledsoe, good call.
Red Barn Creative's giving us all the answers in the chat. So
Oh, this is great.
McNabb, Rich Gannon, Hasselbeck, Charlie
Oh.
Whitehurst.
We got all the Johnsons there. I was going for Brad Johnson, but that counts. Who was the last one you just said, Noah?
I said Charlie Whitehurst.
Whitehurst. I don't know how to spell it.
Did
Dude, Red Barn's just putting all the names, and I called him out, and he said
Jamarcus Russell. There we go.
Yeah.
Cooking.
Matt Hasselbeck?
We already got that one up there. Vince Young.
Been so many said. I
Texas
just don't remember.
Oh, Sam Bradford.
I think that was
McCoy.
2010. Also 2010s.
Damn.
2000 to 2009 is what we're looking for. Oh, Air McNair. Kurt Warner. That was a name.
Yeah.
Jake Delhomme.
Damn.
Jake
Now
Delhomme.
we're cooking. Tim Couch. What do we think about that?
Oh yeah, Brady Quinn.
Quinn.
Mhm.
Jacksonville. Who we got in Jacksonville? Gerard
Yeah, David Gerard.
and Leftwich.
Matt Leinart.
Leinart. How do you spell it? There we
Hell
go.
yeah.
Carson Palmer, USC quarterbacks.
Did we get Vince Young?
We got Vince Young. Greasy.
Also the TV. My
You
display.
can't
of
see
the
shit,
game,
huh?
It's so far. I just like looking at.
You just
scribbles.
gotta name quarterbacks. Michael Vick. That was a quarterback. Romo.
Yeah.
Who's the Dallas quarterback before Romo? I know Aikman played.
Honestly, I feel like Aikman played into the 2000s.
He did. 11 games.
Yeah.
Trent Green. We said Flutie.
Flacco. Flacco played
Flacco.
2009.
Yeah.
Grossman.
Yeah.
JP Lossman.
Jay Cutler.
We already got Jay
We already
Cutler.
got him.
Kyle Orton. There we go. Jason Campbell. Yes.
Did Sage Rosenfels play in 2000s?
Oh yeah.
I don't know if he did.
Yes, he did. Miami and Houston, 12 games.
Oh, Sean Salisbury.
How do you spell it? I don't know how to spell it.
do
Carson Palmer.
Already got him. Jeff Garcia's up on the board now.
Dante
Cleveland.
Culpepper.
Dante Culpepper. Good Dolphins pool.
Did you get Matt Ryan?
Matt Ryan.
Matty
Good
Ice.
call. Aaron Brooks. Yep. Mark Brunell. Bulger.
I'm trying to think of other Texans ones, but
We're at
Yeah.
60 out of 161 so far.
that's pretty good, dude.
It's not bad.
Good.
There's
going.
20 different Cleveland guys on this list. I just don't know any of them.
Yeah. That's why I thought Colt McCoy would be a good one, but you're
John
right.
Beck.
2010.
4 games for the Dolphins there. Seneca Wallace
There you go.
cruising.
Seneca Wallace.
It's just an insane pool.
Oh, Ryan
Insane.
Fitzpatrick. Did we get Fitzpatrick?
Fitzy. Both Dolphins and Texans legend.
Mm-hmm.
Who were the Minnesota? Did Randall Cunningham play in the 2000s? He did. 5 games.
How do you know that? 5 games?
It turns out for Dallas and Baltimore. Trent Dilfer.
Oh yeah, Trent Dilfer.
We just got to think like Super Bowl quarterbacks early
Eli
2000s.
Manning.
I think
We
we
already
got
got the
all the
Mannings.
Mannings. Yeah, all 7 of them.
JJ McCarthy.
I don't think that's
I
the
feel
right
like
answer.
Ryan Leaf. Did Ryan Leaf play in the 2000s?
Yeah.
He sure did. 12 games, San Diego and Dallas.
Did Jamarcus Russell play in the 2000?
I already got him up on the board.
Okay.
25 games. 25 games is a lot. I didn't think he made it
That's
that
a lot
long.
of games. He was pretty awful.
Not good.
Not ideal, to say the least. Trent Green.
When was
Who else
Dan
played for
Marino's
Kansas
last
City?
game?
It was 99. His last
Just
game
a-
was in the 2000s, but it was a playoff game against Jacksonville. Lost 63 to 6 or something like that. It's brutal.
Yeah.
What? He lost 63
Yeah.
to 6?
Yeah, it was like the.
I
I saw
think
a
it
video
was.
about it. It was like
No
one of the
Achilles.
last games.
The team sucked. It was bad. They were like 9-7 as the wild card team. Went to Jacksonville, got murdered, and then Dan Marino was never seen again. San Francisco quarterbacks. Do we got anything? I got Jeff Garcia.
We got Alex Smith, huh?
Alex Smith.
Mm.
We just knocked out Troy Smith, Achilles Smith. Those are names I didn't know. I know Troy Smith. Ohio State quarterback is just speaking at me right there.
Red Barnes said Chad Henne if we don't have Chad
Henne, Dolphins legend. 13 games started. I saw one of them in person in Tennessee. It was awful. Threw an overtime interception, and they lost, even though they were
That's
driving. It
awful.
was
I hate it. I hate that.
not ideal. All right, so New York Giants, Oakland, and Tennessee, 114 games started. I have no idea.
Oh, it says the amount of games they've played?
Yeah.
I thought you were just pulling that from Google.
No.
Yeah.
No, it says the team and how many starts they had from 2000 to 2009. So
Oh, okay.
What was this? This guy had 114.
114 games started. New York Giants, Oakland, and Tennessee were the teams he played for in that time.
Huh. I don't know. I'm blind. I haven't gotten a good one. Dan Orlovsky. Red Barnes the only reason we're doing it.
Yeah. Did
Atlanta and Houston, 40 games started.
did Chris Sims play in the 2000s?
Sims, he did 16 games. Fuck that guy.
Put Garrett Harrelson.
I
I
don't
played
think
a few. I played a few.
I don't know if that one's gonna pop up. Unfortunately for you.
Sorry, buddy.
All right, do we give up?
Yeah,
We're
I'm
8
done.
minutes in.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah. No. Well, Tony Banks.
That's a good one, actually.
That'll work. 25 games started.
What? Dave or Ragone. Dave Ragone. I'm getting quarterback
How
names.
the hell do you spell Ragone?
Ragone, probably.
R.A. Gone.
2 games started for the Houston Texans.
Wow.
Sure.
Wow. Cliff Kingsbury. That's the last one we'll go with. Dr. J, fucking quarterback school.
He never started.
Yes, he did. Yes,
What's his last name?
Oh,
JT
JT O'Sullivan.
Sullivan?
O'Sullivan.
O'Sullivan. That's the last one we need to do.
Yeah, true.
There it is. 8 games started. All right. We got 76 out of 161. Let's just read off some of these names. Kerry Collins.
Oh.
That's who it was. Kyle Bowler, Chris Chandler, Matt Schaub. We didn't do Schaub.
Yeah, we didn't put Schaub.
I thought
That's
we did.
brutal, boys.
Josh said, "What about Schaub?" And I was like, "I think we got him already. I don't remember."
Yeah, we didn't say it out loud. Cordell Stewart, Derek Anderson, Quincy Carter, Jeff Blake, Tommy Maddox, Doug Peterson, Alex Van Pelt, Josh Freeman, Tampa Bay legend, Kellen Clemens, forgot about him, Andrew Walter, Brody Croyle. I didn't know he started games. That's brutal. Cade we should have just ripped McCown. We've got like 10 of them. Matthew Stafford. We forgot about Matthew Stafford.
How did we not get Matt?
Mark Sanchez, Bruce Gradkowski, Chris Winkie. Damn. This is
I don't think we
all
did.
Cleo Lemon. How did I forget about him? Matt Moore, all the McCowns. Jim Harbaugh played in the 2000s for San Diego.
Big dog.
Ty Detmer. Yeah, and then a bunch of fucking nobodies. Kevin Kolb, I remember him.
Hey man, we didn't do too bad.
No.
70 for 161. We didn't hit 76 out of 161.
Especially for someone who can't see the screen at all.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I was
That's
just yelling
pretty
out
good.
names, dude.
Yeah, that was good. But yeah, that was Play Action Takes live stream. Maybe we'll do a Sporkle quiz that's a little bit shorter next time. Maybe we'll just bring those in every episode that we do live stream. That'll be fun. Yeah, Play Action Takes. We're talking football. We'll be back next week for the schedule release, breakdown, best games, best social media releases of the NFL schedule released by each team. I can't wait, boys. It's May 9th, and I'm just clamoring.
I'm just ready for football, man. I'm in the football mindset. It's May. It's not even June. It's not even training camp. Not even
Hey,
OTAs.
look, man, this is how I look at it. May's here. June's going to come around. May is going to be some OTAs. June's got some little mini camp stuff. And then July gets here, and it's time for training camp. We're getting there. We're slowly but surely. We're getting there, boys.
Getting close, boys. Getting freaking close. I'm just so excited for football, and I'm in the middle of a dogfight in the NBA and NHL playoffs here in Dallas. Got my Mavericks and my Stars in round 2, and I can't stop thinking about football. I can't stop.
Yeah, I just have my Houston Astros stinking it up every night. So, that's
Yeah.
all I have. That's
I
all
don't
I
have
have
any
right now.
team right now doing anything worthwhile. So I'm just waiting on the CJ Stroud, Stephon Diggs, Daniil Hunter, Nico Collins, Tank Dell. Can't wait.
I'm so excited. It's May 9th, and we've got so long. We're so close yet so far from
Yep.
actual football being played. We need August. Need August ASAP. I'll take preseason football right now. Give me the Hall of Fame game,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm all the way in. All the way in. I'm already all the way in. But, boys, it's been a great time here on YouTube Live at Apollo HOU. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an episode of any of our shows, Play Action Takes included. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to Big City Wings, Houston's Wing Joint, Apollo's Wing Joint. Go check out Prize Picks. Use code Apollo when you sign up and get up to $100 matched. Prize Picks is a daily fantasy app where you hit more or less on every stat, every player, every game, every night for every sport, essentially. They even have video games on there, the esports stuff. So check out Prize Picks. Check out Big City Wings if you're in the Houston area. And check out us all the time. We'll be back next week with the schedule release, another YouTube Live. Thank you for tuning in. This has been Play Action Takes, Apollo Media's NFL podcast.
Watch football. See ya.
Peace.